All right, a very good morning once again. It's 8 minutes past 11 this fantastic, fun-filled Friday. My name is Ifunai. Welcome to the Midday Show right here on Lagos Talks 91.3. And as always, Fridays, we start off with one of your favorite shows, The People's Perspective, where we get to dissect the top stories that are trending, at least for the week, and seeing things from your perspective. And so, as usual, I will be having a conversation with someone. However, it's not someone that you were expecting. I know you were expecting the big bird to be in the studio. However, you know he did have a show last night, and so he's absolutely knackered. Well done, by the way, Shawn. If you're listening, or maybe you're sleeping, who knows, but well done. He had a show last night, so he couldn't make it in the studio this morning. However, I have Trust Shawn Inonse. He's going to be joining me on the show for today. Good morning, Trust.
Hi, Ify. How you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Yeah, really nice. It seems brand new being on the show with you, Ify. It's been ages. Ify, do you miss me?
It's been ages, indeed.
Do you miss me?
It has been ages, but welcome.
Do you miss me?
Welcome to the show, Trust. Trust, maybe you think this is the dish. This is not the dish, please. All right, guys.
Awesome being here. Let's do the people's perspective, saying things from your own perspective all day, every day.
Fantastic. All right, so we have a few stories we're going to be touching on. We're going to be sharing those stories with you. But before that, remember that this show, The People's Perspective, is brought to you by Africa's #1 luxury homeware store, Adam and Eve. You could check out their website, adamevehomeware.com, if you're not want to go to the physical store and you just want to do everything in the comfort of your home. You could do just that. And if you visit their website, you will see just about everything that you're looking for as regards homeware. You'd see different categories like dining, outdoor, leather, kitchen, electricals, bed and bath, living, and the list goes on and on. And you'd also see that their vision is to inspire luxury living defined by comfort, elegance, and creativity. And they do this by providing luxury lifestyle products with excellent and expert retail service in an inspiring space. So you can visit them if you want to go to the physical store. Visit them at number 8 Isaac John Street, Ikeja, GRA, Lagos. So
it's affordable.
Trust, have you been to Adam and Eve before?
It's affordable. At least I've checked their sites.
No, I'm not talking about the affordability. I'm just saying, have you been there before?
I've
Okay.
not been.
No, because
I've visited them. I visited their site. Just check what they have.
No, because I've never heard you say that before. That's the reason why I was like, okay, have you visited them before?
I took my time. When they came aboard, I said, let me even take my time to check them out. And I checked them out on IG, checked them on their website. I'm like,
yeah. By the way, on Instagram, it's Adam Eve Homeware. So check them out on Instagram. And a big thank you to them for sponsoring the show today. All right, let's get into some of the topics for today. Let us start off with the blackout that we experienced this week. Very uncomfortable in Nigeria, particularly here in Lagos and some other states I'm going to be highlighting. And I'm sure we have spoken enough about it. We know that the electricity challenge took a serious hit when the national grid collapsed on Monday morning. And of course, we got some information from the Electricity Distribution Company confirming this incident on their official Twitter page. And they said, and I quote, "Dear esteemed customer, we regret to inform you of a total system collapse on the national grid at about 10:40 a.m. today, leading to outages across our network. We're closely monitoring the situation with our TCN partners to determine the cause and a timeline for resolution," is what they did say. And we obviously did hear that this affected other states. We saw the official notes coming from the Enugu Electricity Distribution PLC as well. That did said the exact same thing pretty much. And of course, this sparked conversation across board. Now, for those who might need some more information, because you just might wonder how in the world is that grid controlling this electricity that you're experiencing. What does it have to do with you? Why should it disrupt your business? Why should it disrupt your normal living, going home and you're just sweating, and just like, what's going on? And I know that this was the wrongest time. Now, on one hand, people are saying there's no difference between the grid collapsing and the electricity that we've already been receiving, which has been quite epileptic, right? So people are like, there are people that said we didn't really feel any difference because it's been like the electricity grid, the national grid collapsed for us in our area, since maybe 2019 or wherever. And then we know that right now it was the wrongest time because this happened amid a surge in fuel and diesel prices, and it really, really made a lot of people very uncomfortable. And just speaking about the power grid, for those who might need just a little bit of information, to break it down in simple terms, a power grid is a network of electrical transmission lines connecting a number of generating stations to loads over a wide area. And what really this is that it's designed to operate within certain limits, stability limits in line with voltage, current, and frequency. So, whenever these limits are out of the stability range, for instance, the operation of the grid would then become unstable and it can then collapse. Right? It could also mean a total or partial loss of power on the network, usually caused by a fault significant enough to lead to high frequency. And I believe it is said that weather conditions can also affect the distribution network, causing grid instability as well. And sadly, according to reports, over 200 grid collapse recorded in a decade. And this is according to reports. Now, Nigeria's national grid is known, of course, for experiencing these disruptions. Remember that it collapsed in February, May, July, and August 2021 alone. And it was reported that the grid experienced over 200 collapses between 2010 and 2019 as well. If you're just taking a look at a breakdown of the data showing, that Nigeria witnessed 146 total collapses of the national grid and then 73 partial collapses between the period that I just mentioned as well. And how is this rectified? If this happens, how is it rectified? According to Nigerian electricity system operator, that is NESO, a total system collapse means total blackout, of course, nationwide, while partial system collapse is a failure of a particular section of the grid. And the end product of both system failures is that it leads sadly to power or erratic power supply, negatively affecting other performance of obviously businesses, causing economic woes for citizens, and the list goes on and on. And according to a source from the TCN, they said that the grid collapse is not a problem that requires fixing, noting that the system needs to be restarted. So this source said, and I quote, "Nobody can tell you how much it costs. It is an impossibility. There is no cost to fixing because it's not a fixing thing. It's a restarting thing. It's just like you put off your generator and then you start it again. It's not as if you're going to do mechanical work to restart it," is what he's saying. And the person said, yes, there is a cost at the end of the day, but it is found at the end of the month to whoever is found guilty when the checks and balances are done. Now, particularly, talking about what really happened the past few days, 3 power plants contributed to the latest grid collapse. The Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, that is NERC, spoke with newsmen that 3 power plants, AFAM 6, Calabar plant belonging to Niger Delta Holding Company, and the Igwe power plant, which accounts for about 1,000 megawatts, were down at the same time. Now, according to Michael Folashe, who is the Assistant General Manager, Public Affairs, NERC, he said that the Igwe was vandalized. And repairs are being ramped up by Nigerian National Petroleum Company, that of course is the NNPC, noting that the plant, which is currently generating about 236 megawatts, will attain its full capacity of 375 megawatts. He further explained that the Calabar plant has a challenge of gas supply, and the gas pipeline was slated for repairs. Now, the AFAM 6 plant was also due for repairs. And he said, and I quote, "By the time you add these power plants together, you have about 1,000 megawatts out of about 4,000 megawatts. So these are the situations that account for the power supply situation." But as he did say, the Igwe is coming back and the other 2 plants are coming up in a few days. This is according to when he actually made this statement. And I know that the federal government has put out a statement saying that, they have rectified the issue, saying that majorly the problem, the cause of the problem is vandalism. And that's the reason why we've been seeing this ever so often in recent time. Now, just dissecting this and analyzing this, I'd like to hear from you, Trust, as well as others that are listening, because remember, it is the people's perspective. What are your thoughts about the incessant, collapses that we've been experiencing? Just last year, I did mention about, different times that it collapsed within the space of maybe like 8 months or so, that it collapsed in different points in time. Right. And it has collapsed again this year at different points in time as well. How do you think moving forward this can be rectified? Yes, the federal government is coming out to say, oh, it's vandalism. But we know that already we have been having poor power supply in several areas, even focusing on Lagos itself, with people just saying, listen, our power supply is crap.
The power grid has spoiled before.
Exactly. So how do you think this can be rectified? Is it just targeting vandalism? Is there a way or a method or a means that should be devised by the government to ensure proper distribution of power in Nigeria?
First, right, I think it's time to look at holistically. You can't just say it's vandalism. People who vandalize properties, especially when it comes to government properties, can't be me and you. It can't be random persons on the streets who know how well secured these things are, the government properties are. So that means, in other words, it can't just be mere people vandalizing properties. It has to be people that understand the regiments of how these things work, number one. Two, understand the security architecture that surround or that accompanies these facilities. And three, it has to be people who necessarily know people that can give them access to these properties. So, for example, when you speak to a banker, and when you speak to people who work in a bank, maybe managers or branch managers or zonal managers around people who come in to rob banks, they tell you it is almost impossible for a thief or an armed robber to rob a bank successfully without an internal memo, without someone inside the bank. Do you understand? Okay. Like they will confidently tell you that it is almost impossible because of the security architecture, both technological and human security architecture, that banks necessarily take precautions. So there has to be people who understand how it works to give out these things. And I would not want to believe that if private banks can take such steps to protect their wealth and all of these things, I don't want to believe that government property will just be left on the street. Okay, if you want vandalize, come and vandalize.
Interesting.
Do you understand?
That's an interesting
impossible.
Angle.
So if you will tell us it's vandalism, fine. Who are the vandalists? Who are the people who are vandalizing these properties, and who are the whistleblowers that gives out this information to these people? You have to release those names if you want us to take you seriously. Second to that, I'm talking about the power grid and all the whole shenanigans that has gone on. I think one of the most disgraceful things that has happened in this power grid was when Tolu Ogunlesi went to Twitter and started talking about suffering Olympics and failure Olympics.
That's a very interesting term.
It is a terrible situation to find ourselves when someone appointed by government is there analyzing failures, competing in failure Olympics.
Yeah, that was embarrassing.
Do you get bringing us statistical analysis? Oh, it collapsed how many times? Oh, really?
So, by the way, so Trust, just to give some more context, if you didn't see what Tolu Ogunlesi was saying, he was comparing between now, this administration and the previous administration, letting us know that this power grid collapsing did not just start today, and giving us details about the number of times that it collapsed in the former regime and administration, and then people are wondering, okay, is this something that you should be proud of, that you did see that there was an existing issue when the former administration was in power, and then you came into power and we're still facing the same thing? So isn't it a thing of shame? Should you actually be making such comparisons of, well, this has been happening since even before this administration?
It's really disgraceful, because when you look at it critically, so in other words, we voting into power and your what do they call them now, your masters, whatever, we voting as Padam indirectly telling us that, oh, we didn't have the answer. Like, oh, it has been happening, but we didn't tell you we have the answer, because it's happening again. So it was terrible, to be perfectly honest. And second thing, I want to ask questions: how come everything collapsed at the same time with different problems? Oh, you think it's normal? You just come and tell us, oh, it's because it's due for repairs. How long have we been mentioning and making noise around maintenance culture in this country? Then you come and say, oh, so we should be clapping for you. Oh, thank God. It's not because it was due for repairs. How come did it get so bad that you didn't notice it and it just went off? All of these things that happen, just put a sour taste in our mouth as Nigerians. Because, you know, if these sort of things happen somewhere else, do you understand? Like, heads are going to roll. And funny tweet yesterday also from what's this guy's name? The billionaire. What's his name? Tony Olimele. Yeah. So complaining about, the power wants him. Man, you own a power. You're part of the people who necessarily are beneficiaries of this power situation. Like, you own a company and you are part of these individuals. You can't come and start telling us complaining about power that you're a stakeholder in. Do you understand? Do you think it is easy to just come and sow a thread on Twitter and we'll not start clapping for you? Hey, thank God, Tony Olumelu is now talking.
I think what people need to understand that in this day and age that people are more enlightened than what we had 2 years, 3 years, 5 years back. We're more enlightened, and so, you know, a lot of things that you put out there seemingly trying to somewhat garner a certain level of sympathy or empathy, or letting people understand that, we're in this together. People will scrutinize it. People will dissect it because they are now very well informed. And there's a whole lot of information out there to back up the questions that they're going to be asking.
The question you even ask, I say every time, if you're against corruption, if you're against bad governance, be against it holistically. The question you ask is, where has Tony Anyways, anything. Where has Tony been?
Where has Tony been?
When we've been complaining about bank charges, where has he been? When we've been saying that, banks take VAT from us in unnecessarily. Where has he been? When we say, his bank itself, that people complain about his bank taking charges from them that are unnecessary. Where has he been? Because this affects your business, you think cannot side with the people. Complaining about oil, complaining about power, complaining about what you even have stake in. Because, now you then see a non-functional system affects us every time.
Yeah, it's very
be you
true. Poor,
be you rich, it will get to a point to get to you. Do you understand? Now it got to you, then you don't want us to come and do what? Not protest on your behalf. When they say NSAS, do you see Tony? Was Tony in NSAS? When they said we want to fight, did you see Tony there? Now he's saying we have to vote in 2023. Who are you voting for, Tony? Tell us now. Who do you want to vote for in 2023? Or is it the ones that the billionaires of Nigeria will gather together and say they want to sponsor one candidate? Then they now have free access to be getting tax-free every now and then. Or the one that after paying money, then because they can also go to Aso Rock and negotiate that it's only them that will be importing so and so to the country. So you want to use us for that, for your agenda now, Tony? Really? Where we've been suffering since, nothing came from you. Now it's time for you to complain about power and oil? Spare me now, spare me. It doesn't work that way. If you're for us, be for us. If you're not, then it's fine. It's fine. Enjoy your money in silence. Don't come and start acting like yeah. In fact, it seems that I'm even digressing a bit. But after the tweet yesterday, we saw a tweet from a journalist who also even reviewed how him himself was a victim of Tony's perpetuating evil, more or less like sending security forces after him after writing a story.
Interesting. Who's that person?
David Ondeyan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and he released the article that he wrote. He released the calls that were made to him. Yeah, trying to book him for an appointment at the dead of the night, and how his editor then advised him to flee from the country after writing the article. Yeah.
Now, this article, was it targeted towards?
It was targeted at his bank and also the number one richest African man in this country.
Interesting.
Yeah, two of them. It's actually spoke about how the ill treatment of staff in his bank. Do you understand? Ill treatment of staff and how they just got sacked after hosting a lavish party with the top A-list musicians coming. Then you just call them and sack them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's after writing the article in 2020, he alleged that he got threats from his people, his CEOs and everyone, and all of these things, and he had to flee the country. So if of course we receipts. So if you then have been in such situations, you now come and say you want to complain about power and lights and oil. No, now, Tony. No.
All right. If you are listening, please feel free to join the conversation. As you could hear, Trust, he has spoken so passionately. But what are your own thoughts as regards moving forward. What is the best response to the power grid situation? And I love something that Trust brought up, saying that it's quite interesting, the response of the government, saying that, it was due to vandalism, hence the power grid collapsing. However, breaking it down a step further, we did see that it was 3 power plants that contributed to the latest grid collapse, but just one was vandalized. The others needed some form of repair, and so what then happens to those ones that need repair, and how come they all got bad at the same time? How come the vandalism took place at the same time, as well as the 2 others, having to go through a certain level of repair at the same time, contributing to the outages that we experienced?
There will be budget.
Fantastic. All right, please feel free to join the conversation. 08092345913, 08092220913, 515-0913. Lagos Talks, good morning. Who's speaking?
Good morning, my sister.
Good morning, my brother. What's your name?
This is Chris.
Chris, all right. Chris. Hi, Chris. Say hello to Trust. He's in the studio as well.
Trust, my brother. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so
much. They say the rich also cry, right?
Indeed.
Now they know say they won't complain. When they were dining with them, they forget about the masses. So it's good. If heaven collapse, it will not collapse on me alone. Now small be this, so Trust, I just want to tell you, my brother, don't worry yourself. Millions of Nigerians, we are more than these guys, but we keep quiet. Side taking we take with this very particular government. I said it. 2 years of this government. I called. This is not what this guy promised us. These things are not working. They call me names. Oh, because Jonathan lose the election. Oh, Jonathan, I don't know Jonathan. He's a Nigerian. I never meet him as a person. Nigeria is at stake. That is for me. Today, look at where we find ourselves. Those supporters, where are they? Somebody asked in the morning during the Kunu and Adu. Oh, I don't want to mention their names. But thank God, some of them that have conscience have been calling and saying, I'm highly disappointed by this president. So trust my brother. Like I said, let's keep on watching. More of them will cry more. Maybe only this one will just cry now. Others will cry more. After effect is what he's telling now. After effect.
All right. Thank you very much for your take. Don't forget that you can send a tweet at Lagos Talks 913. Please ensure that you use the hashtag The People's Perspective. Use that hashtag and send us a tweet. Lagos Talks, good morning. What's your name?
Morning, Ife.
Good morning. What's your name, please?
Yeah. This is Fidel. I'm from Ikeja.
All right. Welcome.
Okay. Trust.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. God bless you.
Thanks a lot.
God bless you.
Thanks.
Usually, I don't call into radio stations, but everything you said this morning, you just took it out of my mind. This is what I was telling people on my platform this morning. I said, why is Nilubelu complaining? Why is he complaining? All of a sudden, because he's acquiring stake, a major stake in one of the international oil companies. Now he's talking about this, talking about power, talking about all of this. Where has it been since? I talked about the bank charges, everything there. You just spoke my mind. No problem. We're all in this together. Yes, let's enjoy it.
All right. The phone line 08092345913, 08092220913, 015150913, 015151913. On WhatsApp, it is 0809-234-5913. Lagos Talks, good morning. What's your name? Please turn off your radio.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Okpeyemi. Okay, I'll just quickly talk about the power grid issue.
Okay.
One thing that is clear is that we cannot continue centralizing the management of power to a country as vast as Nigeria. Now, one of the things we need to do is from the policy angle. We need to come up with a policy where each state can be able to generate their own power, utility level power. I know there is a level of contention where you can, if you generate up to certain, if you don't generate up to certain amount, you can maintain it within an asset or something. But we need to move beyond that. We cannot continue
we cannot continue with a system where power is generated from some states, then we now try to spread it all over the country. It will never work. If we are going to grow, if we are going to actually make power accessible to everybody, then each state needs to be able to invest in power and distribute it within their own states. If they need to borrow money, they need to do all those things. But we need to decentralize it. This is part of what we are talking about. So, we cannot, now with this, we privatize power. The other time, we sell off all these, we sold off all these discos and other things. But evidently, these things are not working. It was supposed to bring efficiency, but we need to question how it was managed, how that process for privatization was managed. Because what we ended up getting is that we transfer public monopoly to private monopoly. At the end of the day, there is no efficiency. We hardly have the same power, and we keep paying. And the bad part of it is that we are paying more. But the issue is not complaining. Now, the issue is questioning the processes that they are running. Why does government need to continue subsidizing these companies? They are privately owned. Why does government need to give them money to be able to keep them afloat? Who are the people who these power companies are sold to? So these are the questions we need to have. We need to address, and we need to also take it away from the center. Let each state be able to distribute and manage their own power. So that okay, if you're in a state like Lagos or Port Harcourt or Rivers State, you have the capacity to invest in power system and manage your own power. Then other states will follow suit. I think that's the way to go. I think that's the question.
Thank you very much for your take. All right, thank you very much. This is coming from Olariwaju saying, a magical morning to you, Funaya, my vocal namesake, Shawn. But Shawn is not here. It's actually Trust that is in the studio. And he's saying it's a pity that if at 21st century some bunch of people can still be basking in delirium of nonsensical analysis of power failure that has now turned into the modus operandi. My question is this: could it be that we deliberately plunged ourselves into the state of quagmire? Right, a lot of very interesting big words. Very big words this morning. But all right, thank you very much for your take. Obi is saying, Trust, welcome back. I missed your energy. Now I ask, do we truly believe that all this infrastructure malfunctions are actually malfunctions? Do you think it's poor maintenance or negligence or some errors or whatnot? Do you think that they don't want ASU on strike? Do you think they mistakenly imported bad petrol or that the power grid just collapsed? If we really sit and think about it, these things are deliberately done. I say again, deliberately done. Why? In order to subdue us, break our will physically, psychologically, mentally, socially, economically, and all the allies available. Make them depressed and you will control them. If you like it or not, they are winning. Try to convince ourselves otherwise. It's quite interesting. Just segueing to this angle where there are people, and in conversations, citizens have questioned if this is deliberate or if this was done mistakenly or if this was just due to pure negligence. And I say this because there are people who have called in, even on Lagos Talks, to attest to some of the information that they received in their community or in their area, for instance, that there are some petrol companies, for instance, that allegedly, lobby some of these discos and say to them, turn off the power at such and such time so that we can force people to come out to buy petrol. Because, of course, we know that Nigeria lives on generator. Let's just be very honest. And this has happened for such an extended period where, some communities have come to find out that this could possibly be a deliberate attempt to enrich, some of these petrol stations. So what are your thoughts about that quote unquote conspiracy, theory where people have come out to say, indeed, in our community, this is what is happening?
There are conspiracies that you'll be like, why will you be thinking like this? But there are some you listen to and you'll be like, I don't blame you for thinking this way. I can't confirm it, but I can't blame you for thinking this way. Because because you begin to ask questions. For over how many weeks, for close to even no more than a month, we've been buying petrol way above the pump price, normal of 165 or thereabout, right? Some places 200, some 210.
Yes.
It took weeks Nobody came out to say, oh, we are sorry for blah, 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 blah. This is the reason why. Everyone just kept mute like nothing is going on wrong in it. From the presidential aides to the president himself to House of Rep and whatever. Do you understand? Everyone kept mute. Like, it's fine. Let's continue living life. They told us it was bad petrol. Later, they told us, oh, they've been able to mop up the bad petrol, that everything is fine now. Okay, you say everything is fine, but prices return back to normal. So what is going on? Nobody spoke to us. Now, moving forward, we're hearing that power grid has collapsed. Do you understand? You then begin to ask yourself, are you sure? Are you sure there is not an underpinning reason why all of these things seem to be happening at the same time? Wink, wink. It's few months to elections.
Wink, wink. He said wink, wink.
Yeah. So you begin to ask yourself these questions. What is the play? What is going on? What's the power tussle? I won't begrudge anybody who will believe that, oh, maybe this is because this is happening because of there's a power play somewhere. I want to show who is boss. Or someone's trying to sabotage someone. Or we're trying to say, okay, let's try to put these people in social states so that they can get to this stage and we know what to sell to them. These guys want to... In 2023 election, I won't be shocked. That the opposition party will run. In our time, there won't be power grid collapse. I won't be shocked a minute if I hear that in manifesto. That in my time, there will not be fuel subsidy. I won't be shocked. Do you understand? Anyways, I wanted to actually even say something around what we were talking about, Mr. Tony. So remember...
Mr. Tony.
Mr. Tony. You know, one of the most shocking thing about the tweet was that his first tweet was, I heard my colleagues talking about the way Nigeria is of today. And I'm like, oh, really? So
Why doesn't he have colleagues?
So you have to hear your colleagues before you know.
Okay. Interesting.
So you don't even know. So it's your colleague talking that you now knew that something was happening in this country. Oh, nice. Bravo. What's a boss? A boss that listens to his colleagues. You should win boss of the year. Like, GQ should. Do you understand?
It's GQ.
Yeah, boss of the year.
Let's read out.
To you people.
But you know what? In as much as yes, we would highlight the fact that it seemed like his tweets were tone deaf, and it did seem as though it was more for selfish reasons. It's not just Tony Elumelu that is, part of the higher echelon in Nigeria that might not have spoken out in times past. That is just one out of the so many others that are there. Some that are in silence, that might wait till this election period before they would begin to speak out as though it is a one Nigeria. So let's not make it seem like it's a focus on Tony Elumelu.
No,
because at the end of the day, it's not Tony Elumelu that is in charge of our power grid. But yes, that is a conversation that we definitely should have. So let's not put that focus and that energy just on Tony Elumelu. The conversation is more robust than that.
There's one person's son as well. They want to give 20 million to 20 people.
What, Davido?
Yeah, son too.
So what does that have to do with... What does that... David, first of all, Davido is a global musician.
I agree.
Fantastic. So I don't know that he has anything to do with our politics at the moment. Let's be able to separate certain things. So what does that have to do with the power grid?
Let me tell you how.
Let me tell you how.
Adeleke, as a billionaire, maybe not yet a billionaire, let's say close to, I think last I checked was around 700 and something million. Do you understand? Which is awesome. Yeah. Has a stake in both the oil of this country and the power of this country,
which we do not dispute. But the question is, what does Davido have to do with that?
No, the point is here. If you as an individual, like Davido is my G, I like him a lot. I won't even lie. But if my dad has a stake in the country's resources, instead of coming to now form like I am whatever, I will take my dad and say, Baba, how far? And if you not listen to me, I will legit call him out and say, bro, Baba, you're not doing fine. Do you understand? You won't come out every day and say, oh, my dad just bought me a land in Banana Island.
Is that what he does?
Yeah, he did.
Okay.
But
the reason why I want to say this is that I don't want us to then, take away where the conversation should be directed towards to those that are responsible for moving Nigeria forward, because we actually have leaders that we have elected that are in positions of public authority. They're in public offices. So let's not, because we shouldn't take the conversation, we shouldn't take the conversation out of that and then now turn out to be bullies, because Davido in his own right, as in terms of, being a philanthropist, has done so well.
I agree.
Exactly. So let's not move the conversation left, right, center. There are people that are leaders. They should be responsible.
But you know what I say in every society, if that exists, both in US, UK, Nigeria, whatever. The capitalists that exist, stealing Shawn's word. Yeah, I'm sitting for you, Shawn, so capitalist. So the capitalists that exist in those societies, in vast majority of instances, if not in all situations, have a large say.
And that is not what I'm disputing. I'm saying when we are having conversations, you can talk about his father, but coming to talk about Davido coming out to say that he wants to do a giveaway, how does that correlate with this conversation about the power grid?
I'm not against his giveaway, but want to see you as an individual who has relations, quote and unquote, be it friendly relations, be it family ties with people who has a stake. Speak directly to these people.
Okay.
Do you understand? That's what I'm saying. I'm not against philanthropy. No, like I said, I like Davido a whole lot, right? But speak to those people directly. Your uncles, your aunties, your friends, your whatever, your dads, your wives. Speak to them directly. Then yes, it's nice if you're being a philanthropist. It is nice. But then it puts a caveat inside. Are you trying to somewhat buy favor from both ends of the divide?
Come on.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
No, I honestly don't actually understand that Davido coming out to do giveaways like he's been doing ever since he's come into the limelight is now him trying to buy favors from different sides of the divide.
I'm not categorical about saying that is what he wants to do. But that is what it begins to seem like. Right?
That's interesting.
People begin to say like, okay, it's good you're trying to help people. But if these systems, if you can speak them, because you have direct relations to these people as an individual. I'm not just talking about the video. Let's be clear. You understand? So as an individual, if you have direct links, these people, you and these people are in the same WhatsApp group. If you speak directly and even openly speak directly to these people you have relationship with, it goes a long way than handing out to people.
And you know what? I love what you've said, Trust, and I believe there's a way that these conversations should go. We can then say that Davido, in addition to what you've been doing already, to create a more sustainable effect or change, these are the other things. Because the way you started it was as though it was like mocking him.
No.
Exactly, because we can't also become bullies as well. Taking away the responsibility for the people that we have voted into office. They are the ones responsible. Let's not make it a thing where someone like a Davido comes out and he has been very philanthropical for a very long time. So he's one of those people that we wouldn't say he's just trying to play to the gallery or whatever. Even if at the end of the day, at least people are benefiting from it, thankfully.
Yeah, true.
Right, exactly. So let's not then, turn the conversation as though, we're trying to criticize the little that he's doing. We can say, in addition to what he's doing, so that it could be more sustainable, how about he bring those people that he has access to the table and directly address them? All right. And yes, we could say that, but we shouldn't take away the responsibility from those people that ought to be.
Why not? Like, responsibility
in position of authority.
The responsibility for them is totally theirs. And you see,
so let's say in addition to what he's been doing, let's not take away from what he's been doing and maybe water it down as if it has not been effective.
I'm waiting for a situation. I won't say that on air yet. Maybe after I'll say it, but I'm waiting for one thing to happen. And when that happens,
I think I know what you're talking about. This is coming from a listener saying everyone is talking because it's affecting them. Some who support this government wouldn't talk because they have self-sealed their lips. But then if the Tony man speaks, what's wrong with that? It's the same Nigerians that will say the big men aren't talking now. That one has spoken. People are rolling on the floor. The leaders are a reflection of the citizen. As someone said, Trust, say no more until Adeleke becomes your father. This is coming from let's say, Trust that if I think I'm the only Nigerian that didn't buy this grid collapse excuse. Power Grid is now an Olympian who fainted while trading. Same lies they told about adulterated fuel. So that is Stephen as well.
We don't have a contradictory fact. So.
Well, we don't know. Anyways, moving on very swiftly to the next story that we're going to touch on. But before that, remember the People's Perspective is brought to you by Adam and Eve, Africa's #1 luxury homeware store. Now, moving on to this. Trust, I don't know if you heard people talk about a particular video, right? Because yesterday was quite hilarious. Now, we know that it was the inauguration ceremony ceremony of Charles Soludo as the now governor of Anambra State. Congratulations to him once again. And during the inaugural ceremony, we did see, a story that broke about a ruckus that ensued during the inauguration ceremony. And for like the first 1 to 2 hours when that story broke, what we were all looking for was an actual footage that showed exactly what was being spoken about, which was there was some form of scuffle between Ebelechukwu, who is Willie Obiano's wife, and the widow of Ojukwu. I'm talking about the beautiful what's her name? Bianca. Exactly. Did you say Obianca?
Is that not it?
It's Bianca.
Oh, sorry.
Is this an Igbo name? So Bianca Ojukwu, yes. And so we did see that there was something that happened. We could see the after play of what happened, but we just didn't see what exactly happened. We knew that there was a slap. We were like, who slapped who? How did it start?
Finally, the one that they slapped.
Finally now, we now saw a footage, a clear footage. I don't know who got that footage, but you, sir, or Ma, you've done that one job that you had, which was to make sure... So it was so funny because you would know that when Ebelechukwu was standing up from her chair over to Bianca's chair, you know how there are people that when there's mischief in their walk, you will know this person is about to go and look for trouble. In that video, you would see her, like all these, women of valor, just walking from point A to point B. And then by the time she got to Bianca Ojukwu's chair, we don't know what she said to her, but we just saw that, you know what, they threw their big guns up, and it was like they were about to fight, right? And then people started trying to separate them. We know that Ebelechukwu's wig shifted a little bit, right? But now the question was, who slapped who? What really did happen? And we don't really know the gist of it, but coming from, some of the stories that have been circulating, there are some people that said that Ebele went to Bianca and said, oh, Bianca, you're even here. I thought you said you're not going to come for any other ABGA event. And this probably riled her up and, it led to Bianca slapping her. Now, there are people who are saying that she just went over there and whispered something. We don't know what the something was, but it led to them, trying to throw hands. It's quite embarrassing, of course, because that was an inaugural ceremony, and before you know it, we are seeing these women fighting. And of course, this comes after the International Women's Week, and it's quite annoying that people have been tying it to the International Women's Week, because what we're seeing are two individuals who have decided to have issues in the wrong place, right? Which we did see on camera, but that is not, the conversation. But before getting into, Willie Obiano and all that has been going on between him and the AFCC, Charles, what are your thoughts about this fight and the fact that that was the place that they had decided to sort of address clearly an underlying issue that they already did have?
Come here, I need to adjust myself to talk this talk.
Oh my days.
How do you transport what the most disappointing thing about this thing is that how do you transport yourself from one place to another just to go and collect slap? I will not transport myself if it's not me that will be giving the slap. Why will I transport myself and it's me that will be at the receiving end? It doesn't add up. Why? No, but that's the disappointing thing for me. You pay transport, you go, now you can't chop the slap. No, it shouldn't be like that. And I saw a lot of people comments around her wig. And I saw this funny comment.
Yeah, what?
He said, is it wig gum or what do you call it? And they said, is this thing now scarce that governor's wife cannot buy?
Yeah, maybe she just didn't want to lay her wig down for the day. There are sometimes you just don't want to do, because that women, if you're out there, you know that there's sometimes that your frontal could just be an issue, and just thinking about laying your frontal, you're just like, all that stress, and you just want to put your hair there.
No, but if you want to look for, if you know that if there is a trouble,
you need to make sure that your wig is secure.
Be prepared now. You can't go to a battle unprepared now.
It's terrible. Anyways, just very quickly, just writing off of that, we did see that Willie Obiano spent his first night as former governor of Anambra State in the custody of the EFCC. The EFCC spokesman Wilson Uwajare confirmed this development. He didn't necessarily, he did not state rather how long they would detain him for at the time. And he did say, and I quote, Obiano was arrested and he's still in our custody at the time when he was putting out this report. And they did say that they were going to speak further on that one. So what we do understand was that even during the inaugural ceremony, right, that was taking place, that there was a jet that was waiting for Obiano to go from Anambra to Lagos because he had to go to the US for, whatever reason. Right. And when he then decided to, go to Lagos and he was about boarding, going to America, he was stopped by the DSS. They had informed him that there was an instruction to stop, arrest and hand him over to the EFCC. Now, at this particular point, it was alleged that Obiano reportedly reached for his bag and produced a court order stopping the EFCC from arresting him. And the DSS officials were said to have advised him to by himself present this order to the anti-graft agency instead. And then they informed the EFCC officials who were on hand to, take him into custody. And that was a very, very, very dramatic twist or turn to the inaugural ceremony. Of course, we did see how it went, aside from the scuffle between Ebelechukwu and Bianca. And as regards this, we know that some of the information that has been released so far is, first of all, of course, as usual, when something like this happens, you would have, members of a particular political party saying that this is the hand or the job of an opposition party, trying to smear or mar the image of, the party of the person who is being accused for such and such. And we know that one Don Adinuba, who is the State Commissioner for Information at the time, said that the issue between the governor and the EFCC was masterminded by persons in high places who unsuccessfully canvassed for emergency rule. Now, this is according to them. And they are also saying that one of the reasons why he was arrested as well is that they're carrying out an investigation on Obiano for misappropriation of some funds, mismanaging over 17 billion naira Paris Club refund and security votes as well. And so that is the reason why he was arrested, for misappropriation of some funds.
So quick one, Ify. So first things first. First, we have to even question why, as a governor, 8 years governor, and you thought that, you've done a lot for your people. I think the thing to do is to go back to your people and rejoice and let them honor you, give you grand entrance. Hey, thank you, Willy, for all you've done for us. Yeah, I don't know why I call him Willy. So, yeah, I don't know why, like William and Obiano. Yeah. So, thank you for all you've done. But hey, the first thing you did is to jet out of your state that you were in charge of for 8 years. So, you see that you're not proud of even what you've been able to give to the people, that you can't live in your own state.
So do you think that the reason he was jetting out was because he wasn't proud? There are so many reasons, because we know that some of these political office holders, they have a lot of medical appointments that they have abroad. Could it have been a medical emergency?
No, I'm asking. There's so many questions to ask. If it's medical emergency, why is it that for 8 years there was no hospital that could cater for your medical needs?
Interesting.
Why? 8 years. It's not 2 years. 8. There was no hospital you could cater for your medical emergency, or you weren't proud of your state that you could live there for even for a day, because immediately. Second, you're not jetting out to Texas, United States, right? Okay, let's even say now it could also be that, of course, he already has a hang that these guys want to get me, because if he doesn't, he won't be wanting to bring out court injunction. He won't have sorted for that court injunction.
Indeed.
Do you understand? So you ask all of these things put together, that gives you an idea of the kind of leaders we have in this country. Even with the whole shenanigans that happened in the inauguration, I best believe if it was me and you, that went to that inauguration and we fought. Maybe not we fight, we abuse ourselves. Our police could not arraign us to say we are disturbing public peace. They will say we are charged for public peace. Hey, but because it was Willy wife and he says Bianca, okay, Bianca. Because it was them now. Public figure. Nobody heard anything. It's fine.
But you know, there are times where the police would not because it's too fighting. So this is not the first time. There are times where it's too fighting and police will say this is too fighting. They're not going to arrest them. It's just that they're going to resolve whatever issue it is. But that could be too fighting as well.
But there are also times that they also arrest people that are fighting in their own compound. I wouldn't be that time that you're fighting in your compound and they will come and say we'll charge you. That times too now. So why is it that is the easy one that we always apply to big men? So now it's time for Willie Willie to answer his call. Willie Willie, please, if you let me, I do tell people, if you don't want to be witch haunted, don't have a witch, don't have anything. So if they're witch haunted,
is it possible to be in politics in Nigeria without being vulnerable to witch hunting? Because it is party politics.
If they don't have anything, if they don't have anything on you, they won't witch hunt you.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
If they don't have anything on you.
If they don't have anything on you.
Is this the first time that we know that there are people that have been used as scapegoats? Not necessarily because they had anything on them, but they could possibly have been set up. And so with politics, we know that, and that's the reason why we always term politics in Nigeria as a dirty game. Even if that's not an excuse for people not to get into politics, because at the end of the day, we need to clean it up ourselves if we want to see change. However, we've seen in times past where there are people that have been a target, of party politics. So it's not always that they have something on them, it's that they probably want to, make an example of them.
Why? Okay, if it's just like you now, I'll just come and meet you. If you steal 2 million, when you never even see 2 million for your life.
But there have been people in that position, yes, that have been set up. Are you saying that could not happen?
No, is it that the money did not enter? Is it that the money did not enter your account? How were you set up?
That's the reason why it's a setup.
You didn't know that the money entered your account.
No, but that's the reason why it's a setup.
There are things that are set up. There are things that you can be set up about.
But what I'm saying is you can be set up, be it being in politics or be it being an average Nigerian citizen. So this thing about being set up.
Security votes is for the governor.
Indeed.
Now, security votes is part of what is charged for. They say he mismanaged security votes and 17 billion now?
Yes, over 17 billion.
Paris refund I beg. You want to set me up? No,
I'm not. No. The conversation segued into that. Exactly.
I understand what you're saying. But what I tell you that in vast majority of instances, right, these things happen because you thought that, these guys are your guys, so you can talk to them, you can talk your way around it. And when they stop being your guys, they snitch on you.
Because this is politics, sadly.
Yeah. So don't do any shady dealings with your guys. Don't be shady at all. You understand? Give the people what they want. I always cite an example. When talking about this whole politicking and people not having things on you in some instances. So there was a time in Lagos State when a certain governor...
You have to hurry up because this is 3 minutes past 12 actually.
A certain governor wanted to be run for a second time and perhaps David didn't want it. But they knew. Like we said that this guy should run, will most likely lose. And they left him to be. So put yourself in that position where the people above you no get choice. That's it.
All right, it's 3 minutes past 12. A big thank you to you, Trust, for being a part of the show today. I appreciate it. And a big thank you to everyone who was a part of this, either via just listening, sending messages, or giving us a call. We do appreciate it. And a big thank you to our sponsors, Adam and Eve, Africa's #1 luxury homeware store. Check out their website, adamevehomeware.com. Check them out on Instagram, Adam Eve Homeware. And ensure that you tune into The People's Perspective, Fridays, 11 a.m. to 12. Trust, before saying goodbye, any words?
Yeah, please, let's do better as citizens. Let's do better as leaders. And definitely don't be hypocritical about your actions.
All right.
Follow me on Twitter and on Instagram at SimplyTSI. That is SIMPLYTSI.
Fantastic, guys. Thank you so much. You can reach out to me on Instagram and Twitter at Ify_I. That is IFY_I. Follow Lagos Talks at Lagos Talks 913 across all social media platforms. Coming up right now is the World News, coming to you live from our media studios. At 12:30 is Directions. Let us point you towards the right direction. concerning different topics and different issues, focusing on developing yourself as an individual. And at 1 p.m., your favorite talk show with your favorite ladies. It's called The Dish. It's our round table. It's going to be exciting as always. And we will get into Film Fridays that we always do on Friday. So if you're a movie lover, please ensure. And on Film Fridays for today, I will be making an announcement. You might have seen this on my social media page, a project that I worked on. It's about last year, I believe, which I completely forgot about. And you get to listen to it very soon in the month of March. Sorry?
Big ups on that.
Oh, thank you so much. So you can go check it out on my Instagram page at Ife_I, and I'll speak further on that during Film Fridays today. So stick around.
We are Lagos Talks 91.3.
Let's talk.